Hi, class. Welcome to week 7. Let's get started. This week, we're going from your essay to your presentation. And that's a good thing. We're going to take that essay, the cause and effect essay that you wrote last week, and we're going to turn it into a presentation. So, developing successful presentations. This week, you will begin to explore the skills needed to make a detailed and informative presentation. Over the course of the last couple of weeks, you have developed arguments in the form of a cause and effect essay. As part of this, you have focused on developing and structuring complex arguments. This week, you will begin to translate the work you have done in your essay into visual and oral elements to build your cause and effect presentation. As the week progresses, you will learn important skills for designing effective and engaging presentations. So, our goals for this week are identify key components of arguments that will build the foundation of your presentation. Learn methods for streamlining content in presentation slides. Consider design elements to help enhance your presentation through engaging slides. Our skill spotlights: critical thinking, cultural competency, communication, and technology literacy. Preparing the presentations, goals and realities. So this is a little hypothetical situation. So let's assume the cause and effect essay that you submitted last week, all of the readers were pleased with the results. In fact, they were so pleased with your ideas from the essay that they want to communicate it to a larger audience through a presentation. So this is good and bad news. The good news is that it was so well received that they are interested in seeing more of your work. The bad news is it's a completely different type of communication medium, and it's going to be a little hard to try to figure it out. So we have to learn how to engage in this presentation process. Here are some checklist items that you want to think about when you are preparing. So it's the presenter's checklist. As you think about your goals for your presentation, consider the following checklist from chapter 15 of our textbooks. 1, are my outline and notes ready? 2, are my thesis and main points clear and well organized? 3, do I have the right number of details and examples to support my main points fully? 4, have I planned how to make transitions from one point to the next? 5, are my visuals useful and appropriate for the audience? 6, do I have a backup plan in case something goes wrong? 7, am I ready to give an enthusiastic presentation? 8, have I practiced my presentation several times? So use this checklist and it will help guide you through the process when you're putting together your presentation. And we have to go in depth about the content of the slide because you do not want your slide to be just covered with words. You want to have very little words, use bullets, and have some examples of pictures, your visuals that will support the work that you are doing. So considering content, as is noted in the assignment description, your presentation should be 5 to 7 minutes in length. So please stay within these time constraints. So if you are in a professional setting and you're running over the time, it's considered to be rude behavior for the simple fact that if you're running over your time, you're shortening the time of someone who's coming behind you. And even the Q&A section could be also shortened. So be considerate of your time. Is very, very important that you just stay on time. And the best way to do that is remember probably 1 minute per slide. If it's 5 to 7 minutes, you don't want to have over 7 slides. So try to keep it within that time frame and you should be okay. So keep in mind that if your cause and effect essay is the required length, which was probably 1,200 to 1,500 words, the average person can speak 100 words per minute. So your essay will probably take 15 minutes if you use the whole essay, which is way too long. So that's why you want to go in there and just take the highlights. You want to take the best points. You want to have a presentation that's effective and is driven by visuals, engaging slides, and clear and strong, enthusiastic voice. So those are the points you want to focus on when you're making your presentation. Not so many words. You don't want to just litter the thing entirely with words. Make it really brief, and you can say what you need to say without putting it on the screen. Just put bullets to help you remember the points that you want to talk about. So details of design. In designing slides, strive for engagement, visual appeal, and ease of understanding. Consider who the audience will be and how they are likely to be viewing the presentation. There are three main types of presentations: co-present, live online, and recorded. Each one has its own set of design challenges. So, co-present. A co-present presentation is one in which the presenter and the audience are together in the same physical space. When presented in front of a co-present audience, the size and shape of the room, the seating arrangements, the lighting, and the size and position of the screen must all be accounted for. You want to go in and make sure you preview the room first and make sure that the seatings are perfect so that there's not glare from the light that are causing presenters to squint and not able to hear you. It can be very disruptive. So you want to go early and make sure you make any adjustments that are needed. Live online. With the trend towards geographically distributed workforces, live online presentations delivered via video conference have become increasingly common. Everyone knows Zoom. Zoom is in everyone's neighborhood and everyone's household. It's our new way of communication due to this virus that we're in. So in a live online presentation, the audience will likely be viewing it from a computer or even a smartphone. If the majority of your viewing audience will be using a smartphone to view the presentations, the slides must be designed accordingly. So you want to make sure that they can read the slides. If it's packed with a whole lot of text, it won't come out clear. Graphs, charts, you have to really make sure that you test it out on a cell phone yourself to see how easy it is on your eyes. So the third type of presentation is a recorded. The recorded presentations are a good option when it is impractical to present in front of a live audience, such as when the people are spread out around the world in different time zones, just like it is here. DeVry students are from everywhere. I was talking to a student in student hours, and he was from Kansas. I'm from California, and I'm sure you guys are from all over. So we have to take this into consideration. A recorded presentation is a great option for certain types of tasks, such as providing step-by-step instructions, Design principles for recorded presentation are similar to those for live online presentations in that viewers will most likely use their computers or smartphones to access them. Regardless of whether the presentation will be co-present, live online, or recorded. These principles of good designs are always in style. So contrast, use light text and dark background or vice versa. Don't make your colors fight against each other because it's very, very hard on people's eyes. So you don't want to have bright colors bouncing off. Use some well-balanced colors. Consistency. Employ the same color scheme and fonts throughout. Make sure your fonts are the same. You don't want them going up and down, big and small, and all of these things. Make sure that when people are looking at your slide from slide to slide, there's not much difference in the font size or the colors. So conciseness. Use short bullet phrases rather than long blocks of text. We went over this and we will continue to go over this because this is very, very important. You do not want to litter your screens with a lot of text, a lot of words. You want to use very few words and short bullets. So clarity. Make sure visual elements are easy to see and understand. Candor. Ensure that charts and graphs are accurate and fair. And you must also give credit to any information that you are borrowing to present. Even if it's just a picture from Google, you still need to give credit. So make sure below the picture you give the credit on the slide and follow it up with the reference slide, referencing the documents that you cite as well as the visuals. So here's the writing lab. And what it's telling you is in PowerPoints, you use all of these different elements to present your PowerPoint. So read chapter 15 carefully, and it's going to tell you how to develop your oral presentation. And consider how you will integrate your text, images, and graphs in PowerPoint to illustrate and enhance what you will say without distracting from your spoken message. And that's what I'm saying. If you choose to use some type of visual, make sure it enhances what you are talking about, or it's just no use of it being there. It has to enhance the presentation some kind of way. So just as any research source information used in a paper, you must properly cite the source for all textual and visual content in your presentation. Cite just as you would in a written essay. When citing non-text visuals such as graphs or images on your reference slide, indicate what kind of content it is in a square bracket after the item's title. Use examples that are below. You can follow those examples. It gives you quite a few examples of how to cite the material that you're using. And then here is a little slide presentation that's telling you, basically demonstrating what not to do. And I'm gonna go through it's only like 3 or 4 different slides. And it's so effective use of citations of visual elements. So you don't want to do this. You don't want to have all of this going on like this. Cite all your sources, whether they're text or visual. And then this is your reference. Make sure you alphabetize your references. Put them in alpha order. So even for a non-text source, you want to tell what it is. It's showing that it is an image. So go over that, and we're going to go back to our lesson. So assignment connection, cause and effect presentation, general ideas. Remember this little guy, the rhetorical star? Well, in your presentations, you're going to consider the 5 points of the rhetorical star. Each point in the star should be used to help you narrow your focus and plan the details of your presentation. Begin your process by identifying the subject and purpose of your cause and effect essay. Then consider the role of audience and design. How will you illustrate your PowerPoint, your point of view in your PowerPoint, and make your presentation engaging? Finally, develop a strategy for completing your presentation. This strategy should involve 3 key steps: take inventory, streamline content, and get organized. Take inventory. What are the key details in your paper that should be included in your presentation? Not the whole thing. No, we just want your key details. What key points and examples help support your thesis? Streamline content. Your paper includes more text than can go into your presentation. To make sure you do not overwhelm your slides or your audience, carefully think about what details you might want to highlight. Get organized. Begin planning the foundations of your presentation. Just as you would with a written paper, begin to think about the 3 major parts of your presentation and what elements should be included. And here's a little slide presentation that just go through and look for what a good introduction, a good body, and a conclusion. So make sure you go over those points when you're putting together your PowerPoint presentation. Identify strengths and gaps. As you review your presentation and draft this week, consider the following. Argument. Is the argument clearly represented in the presentation? What is the thesis? Where does it appear in the presentation? Organization. How are the slides organized? Is the presentation easy to follow? Can you tell what the subtopics are? Research. Is there a clear representation of research in the presentation? How is the research used to persuade the audience? Slide design. Are the slides clear and easy to read? Does the presentation use bullet points rather than full paragraphs? What type of visuals are used to enhance the presentation? Priorities. What are 3 top priorities you have to help improve the presentation? Considering visual design. Once you have your main ideas identified and your text in place, consider the design elements that will help bring your presentation to life. We want to consider color, images, text, balance, making your point, evidence, and credibility. So color. Select background colors and design templates that complement your topic and make the information inviting and easily accessible to your audience. Images. Select images that you feel confident that you can engage with as part of your presentation. In other words, your images should serve a purpose to help further main points and thesis. Text. Text should be clear and easy to read. In addition, you should be sure not to overwhelm your slides with text. Remember, the focus of the presentation should be you. Balance. Make sure that your slides have a nice balance of text and visual elements. Remember, these elements should add to your discussion of your topic. Making a point. Your thesis should be the star of the show. Be sure to highlight Highlight your argument early on and develop key ideas. Evidence. Include specific evidence from your research to help support your thesis. Credibility. Help establish credibility by including in slide references and a reference slide. Next, we're going to get started with the presentation. This is our discussion board. We would like for everyone to respond no later than Wednesday of this week. So this week, you'll be getting started on creating a presentation based on the cause and effect essay as we have stated. For tips and advice on creating effective presentations, see week 7 lesson, which I am going over currently, especially the assignment connection section. Chapter 15 of your textbook has a lot of information there for you also. Your initial post is due no later than Wednesday. Please share a rough draft of your presentation slides only. Don't worry about the audio narrative yet. It is okay if the slides are rough at this point. The finished presentation isn't due until week 8. As a visual reference, the organizational structure of your presentation should look something like this. You have your title slide, an overview slide, 3 or 4 main body slides, a conclusion slide, and your references slide. After making your initial post with your rough draft, provide feedback to at least 2 of your fellow students. Reply to students who have not yet received feedback first. In your feedback, answer the following questions. Are the slides mostly text or are they more visually oriented? Are the slides effective in helping to convey the main points? Are the visuals effective in helping to convey the main point? Is the presentation clearly organized? Why or why not? Are claims supported with evidence? Is the evidence cited appropriately in the slides? What is the presentation's purpose? How well did it achieve that purpose? What did you like best about the presentation? What is one way to make the presentation even better? Below, I have given you some information on a narrative PowerPoint presentation. This information is available under your course resources, Student Resource Center. It gives you information on how to create a PowerPoint, a narrated PowerPoint. I'm going to go to where it is located so you can see it for yourself. Technology and resources, course resources. Once we click on course resources, Student Resource Center, access Student Resource Center. Narrated PowerPoint. Same instructions that I have provided. Make sure you take the Microsoft tutorial before you start so you can be familiar with what is needed. So back where we left off, I think this is where we are. After you submit your draft slide, it doesn't have to have the narration at this point, but let's get started on the draft. Next, we have your publisher work, developing an oral presentation or multimodal composition. So this is chapter 15. Make sure you cover that and go over the information provided. Next, we have information on the cause and effect presentation. That's actually due in week 8. We're in week 7. So week 7, we're sharing with our classmates, reviewing. Week 8, the final presentation is due. And for those of you who were rewriting your compare and contrast essay, please get those in as soon as possible. We don't have much time. I'm going to tell you the same thing about week 7 that I've told you about all the other weeks. Highlight this information and cut and paste it and put it on to a separate page where you can come back and access it later to check off and make sure that you actually have what you need. I'm trying to get a new document here. Here we go, new. Open new document. Some days it's just like this. Here we go. So I'm showing you this because I think it's very important as a student for you to do things like this to help in any of your classes. You want to make sure that you always follow the rubric. The rubric is the key to getting the best grades possible. I try to put it on a separate page just so I can have it. And here you go. This is your assignment. Print this out, even if you need to change the font to make it a little larger. These tend to be kind of small. So let's change it to a standard 12 or even a 14 font if you want to make it bigger. And keep this for you. And every time you complete one of these categories, check it off. Make sure you check it off. And then you have all of your points and you will be able to get the best grade possible because you are in control of your points. Like we said earlier, the cause and effect presentation is not due until week 8. We're in week 7. So in week 7, we're working on getting it together and presenting it with our discussions for other classmates to see. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now because we're actually finished. And I want to wish you guys the best. We've come so far. We're almost done. We're pretty close to finishing. So one more week, we can do it. Just hang in there, work on that presentation, get started early so that if you do have problems, you will be able to correct those in time. So have a great day. Bye.